Good morning. Happy Monday. Not an oxymoron, not around here. It is September 23rd, 9:41 in the morning here in Western Iowa. Hope you had a great weekend. I did. Texas Tech wins their game. Seahawks are undefeated. That's good. Kansas City won last night. So, as far as football goes, that's all good stuff. All right, let's go for hazards across the country today because there aren't any, hardly any. Heat advisory around San Francisco. Is that right? Well, that's what it says here. Uh, we've got a flood warning in central Arizona and one little county there in Missouri, looks like. And then some coastal flooding possible, Virginia, Maryland, into Delaware. So watch out here as well. But not a lot going on. But that will change as we head into our weather spotlight, spotlight, spotlight. I've been singing that song by Billy Ocean, Caribbean Queen, since I loaded this graphic. Is there a song in your head all the time? Are you like that too? Anyway, X marks the spot, greater than a 60% chance of possibly tropical storm, maybe Hurricane Helene out here in the Caribbean, which will be making its way into the Gulf Coast, and then maybe Florida. We'll show you that here in just a little bit. Surface for today, you can see that cold front moving through Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, into the Midwest. Showers and storms around that. Further north, it's more of a steady rain for Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, and for the upper, say, the northern plains as well. It shows rain all the way down here into western Iowa, but our forecast is sunny and 70 today. How gorgeous is that? All right. Well, if you have severe chances today, maybe not as fun. Arkansas into Missouri, southern Illinois, and Indiana into Kentucky and Tennessee. This is your severe weather threat. So we'll throw Little Rock in there, Nashville as well. Almost to Lexington. Certainly Paducah and the Kentucky Lakes region is where we have our tornado threat today. Now, it's not a big threat and it's a very small area, but just a 2% chance of a tornado near you, right where Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, Arkansas, and Tennessee meet. All right, highs today. You can see where that cooler air has invaded now. West Texas in the 70s, through the plains, 70s, warming up a little bit. In South Dakota, there's an 82 there, but 70s into the Midwest all the way to Ohio, where we start to see a few 80s come back, especially as you head south from Ohio into, say, Kentucky, even Nashville, kind of warm at 91. And we do see those low 90s to mid 90s even in the southeast. West Coast looking good, 70s for the Pacific Northwest, but 90s to near 100 in California, 100 for Redding. And we're back above 100 for Phoenix at 102 today. Lows tomorrow morning, just gorgeous. Look at all those 40s and 50s over much of the country to start the day tomorrow. And then we get, a little further south and east, we're back into the 60s and 70s to start the day. But it's starting to look like fall, isn't it? Surface for tomorrow, our cold front makes slow progress. So kind of a stationary front now in Texas, but still a cold front, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois. Another cool reinforcing shot of cool air for the upper plains into the central plains. We see some thunderstorms around all of that. I ignored this on the today's surface, but tomorrow too, a few showers for the Olympic Peninsula up in Washington. All right, severe for tomorrow. A large area here for the Midwest down into the Ohio Valley, the Tennessee Valley. So this is your area for a marginal risk of severe weather. So we could see a storm or three here with some strong gusty winds, maybe some large hail. But the tornado threat for tomorrow just isn't there. Highs tomorrow. We see lots of 70s across the Midwest, even Ohio now into the 70s, even 60s as you get into Pennsylvania, New York, and parts of the Northeast. Low 90s where there were mid 90s, so low 90s, a little bit cooler for parts of the Southeast tomorrow. And we see 80s return to West Texas, so warming up a little bit hotter in the desert Southwest too, 104 for Phoenix, yikes. And still hot through the Central California valleys. 100 is at Fresno, I think so. And even 90 for Eugene, so warming up in the Pacific Northwest. Here's your 48-hour rainfall for the next 48 hours, ending Wednesday morning. And we see our biggest rain right there, Arkansas, Missouri, border around 2 inches, possible a little more. Widespread area here of 1.5 inches-ish through Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, up into Pennsylvania, down through parts of Virginia and North Carolina. Did I mention West Virginia? Did I mention Tennessee? And even a little bit of Louisiana, 1.5 inches in isolated spots here. Your surface looking ahead to Wednesday, our severe threat, or I should say our heavy rain threat, possible flooding from Birmingham, Alabama to Atlanta, Georgia, almost Nashville, moving into Asheville, North Carolina, that whole red area there, and then lots of showers, I should say probably isolated showers from Texas all the way up the East Coast, and more of a steady rain when you get into the Northeast and the Northwest. And we see a little bit of snow here for the Cascades and the Olympic Mountains of Washington. Let's take a look, shall we, at our GFS model, because we can show you where that hurricane is expected to go. I would say long about Thursday or so is what we're looking at. So we're starting this morning, and as we get into the day today, you can see the heaviest rain here, Illinois, Missouri, and we see along our front, and we're starting to see a few more showers pop up into Texas too, and ahead of our front too, also for places like Kentucky and Tennessee. And don't forget, this is our severe weather threat area as well, and our isolated tornado threat here. This is almost midnight tonight. Is that right? Yeah. So as we get into tonight and then tomorrow morning, we see our heaviest rain here. Moving through the day tomorrow, you can kind of make out where our front is making slow progress eastward, with our best chance of showers here in the Ohio Valley. So Ohio, Kentucky, into West Virginia, now moving into Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio. This is Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, central Pennsylvania, all the way down into Virginia, North Carolina, and then starting to see some big storms here too in East Texas along that front. As we get into Tuesday night, midnight, Wednesday morning, oh, watch this area down here. It's starting to peek its head. Our tropical system, GFS definitely has a tropical storm to a hurricane. This looks like a hurricane forming. As we get into the day Wednesday, this is noon, this is afternoon Wednesday. You can already see outer bands and heavy rain moving into Florida if this forecast comes exactly true. Of course, you know how hurricanes are and their exact track. We'll have to keep an eye on it, but we're getting closer. This is Wednesday night at midnight and just kind of moving right towards Florida with the heavy rain and possibly a hurricane. And we see those outer bands further to the north, of course, through Alabama, Georgia. So we see a lot of tropical moisture, heavy rain moving into South Carolina too. This is Thursday around noon. Thursday afternoon, landfall, Tampa, Florida, through Orlando, moving to Jackson, and into southern Georgia, into South Carolina. So this is a possible hurricane by the end of the week, moving into the southeast, and lots of heavy rain and all the things that come with a tropical system making landfall. It'll spin up tornadoes most likely. Of course, lots of wind damage, lots of power outages, and a lot of rain. So that bears watching as we get to the end of the week. Looking ahead for the next 6 to 10 days, temperature-wise, most of the country returning to above average as we get through the 28th into the first couple days of October. So it's cool now. Enjoy it, because there'll be a slow warming trend for much of the country behind that front. The exception way up there in Washington State, a slight chance at least of cooler than average temperatures. And then for the precipitation, again, the 28th through October 2nd, your best chance of the above average temperatures down in the southeast and Florida, moving up into the Midwest and Ohio Valley, and even into like Mississippi. And then most of the rest of the country on the dry side, looks like. So we'll keep our eye on what's probably going to be Hurricane Helene, probably moving to Florida as we get later in the week. We'll definitely keep you posted on that and everything else going on in your weather. Thank you so much for tuning in the Weather Mic. Have a great Monday. It's going to happen.